When I was a kid, my siblings would spoil entire movies for me. My brother went and saw The Terminator. Mm-hmm. He came home, he told me the whole movie, like he was telling me a story.
Yeah.
And he went through every single scene. By the time I saw The Terminator, I knew everything that was going to happen. My sister did the same thing with Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh.
Knew every plot point. And I loved it.
Yeah.
I didn't care. I thought
like,
it was great.
Here comes that part that I'm excited
that I heard about. Now I get to see it.
The day after I saw Raiders of the Lost Ark, I had lunch with my mother's boss, the principal of her school, and my mom. And I told him about Raiders of the Lost Ark in order of coolest sequence in the movie. It's a movie about this guy gets thrown out of the front window of a truck, and then people's faces melt, and then there's this huge boulder.
You went from middle to end to beginning.
Exactly.
Well, if you want to hear more discussion of Raiders of the Lost Ark, stay tuned till the end of the show. I've got a bunch of movies that I've never seen before. You don't know what they are. Every episode, I'm going to spring one on you. It might be good. It might be bad. We'll watch it and talk about it. Welcome to the basement. Happy 2021, everybody. We are glad that you're joining us for our end-of-the-year megasode, looking back at Season 10.
10 years.
And now, the year in review. I've come here to do two things. Kick ass and chew bubblegum. And you guys, I have so much bubblegum, I don't think I'm ever going to run out.
Resta dormir con me.
In separate beds with resentment in between us.
Let's do something tonight, all right?
There's a crochet magazine. Why don't we crochet tonight?
Have had nothing to do with the creation of Godzilla. So do atheists just call him Zilla?
Who's that?
The witch.
Witch?
The hooch?
Nobody said anything about a witch.
A watch?
I will now do the impossible.
Entertain you with this creepy puppet. And now, you may know him as the guy who probably shot the Kaiser, but we know him as the Great Gabbo.
All influence is immoral.
Ah.
It's tragic, of course, but you mustn't let yourself brood over it.
For we all know that to brood is to be rude. Not my best, but...
Buses on strike, wanna raise and fare.
Who gave Delroy Lindo the Horn of Gondor?
Looks like we all gotta go to his aid.
No one wanted.
Housel PARTY! Get out your bathing shorts.
I said, homeboys, make some noise.
Can you fight?
I can lick anybody my size.
And I have, and that's how I got all those viruses.
Let's see. If I made 2 of these, I could skate home.
Miguel, my bell. These are words that go together well. Where are you, Miguel?
In 60 fractions of Megon, we'll start the landing maneuver.
60 fractions of Megon? We don't have all day.
Syntonize on gravitational wave moment of force G7.
G7, you madman!
Yak, yak, yak.
Hack, hack, hack.
Hey, you hear about Joey's bust?
Joey's bust, like his bosoms? Or that sculpture he had commissioned?
We're in the money.
Do not point a gun at your face, even a soap gun. You're gonna get a bubble in the eye.
Somewhere in a screening room, Sam Peckinpah is watching this and going, this is a bit much.
I don't care about smoochy chocolate, smoochy floor wax. All I care about
is touching children. Emotionally.
Dee, guess what? What?
Chicken butt.
Chicken's butt.
Tell me now.
Tell you what?
Chicken butt.
Well, will you tell your father that I'm here?
My father is dead.
But if you'd like, I can reanimate him for you. This destruction was completely unwarranted.
No, we'll call the police. We'll tell them the truth. They'll believe us.
We're rich and white.
Listen to the legend of Chuck-a-Luck, Chuck-a-Luck.
Ladies, Can't we just fornicate? I mean, let's just cut to the chase.
What about life, Ninochka? Do Russians never think about life?
Yes, life imprisonment in Siberia.
That's mainly what we think about.
How do you stay alive?
There's nothing left but the game.
In the nuclear winter, only the nerds survive. The gamers. For God's sake, will someone roll a natural 20 so the movie can get exciting? It is now customary to talk about our favorites and our least favorites.
All right, what are we starting with? Favorites or least?
For me, my favorite and my least favorite are one and the same. It is Quintet.
Yes, well chosen.
I just watched it again because I'm still editing the episode. And it really is a brilliant movie that is catastrophically executed. It is a triumph of vision and creativity, and it is so thought-provoking. And it is a dismal failure of screenwriting and direction and editing and sound and missed opportunities and bad choices and no backstory and no exposition, and I could just go on and on.
But at the same time, it feels like the only movie we've watched in all these 10 years that I've discovered. What is this thing?
Yeah.
It was very nearly my favorite movie of the year. As was Ninochka, which I think technically is just the best story.
Probably the best one, yeah.
Story told. Brooklyn might have been my favorite of the year. The recreation of this world of Brooklyn in the 70s. I wanted to live in that movie. The movie I didn't like at all was Night of the Lepus.
I would have thought you said Hackers, because you said that you hated Hackers.
Oh yeah, I did hate Hackers a lot. Hackers was dreadful, but Night of the Lepus, I didn't even know why we watched that movie.
I don't think Night of the Lepus was all that bad. Certainly not good. The slow-mo rabbit photography, I just thought was really beautiful. And if I was throwing a fancy party and projecting things on the walls, I would just project those rabbit scenes from Night of the Lepus.
Something I found out about Rumblefish. It was filmed in Tulsa, which I knew. And when they were location scouting, they were looking for an area for when they go out on the town, and they found this almost pristine neighborhood. It had some broken windows, some broken signs, but nobody lived there anymore. And it was the site of the Tulsa race riot.
Oh, wow.
Back in 1921, so 60-some years later, it was still kind of like salted earth neighborhood.
Also in Rumblefish, you know, a lot of actors who don't have a ton of experience on camera, they don't know what to do with their hands. Tom Waits seems to not know what to do with his elbows. Every scene he's like, hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? You know, his elbows just seem kind of jinky.
But at the same time, Tom Waits might have known someone in some pool hall who was that guy. It's like, I'm basing this off this guy I knew in Lawrenceville, Kansas.
Another fun fact about the movie Godzilla.
Yeah?
In the American version with Raymond Burr, the voices of Ogata and Serizawa were provided by a young James Hong, Basement Hall of Famer.
Really?
Yes, there are a lot of bad things about Hell Comes to Frogtown. But there's one bad thing about it that I don't believe we talked about on the show. There is an archetype from 80s and 90s action movies where there's the tough woman. The reason why she's seen as the tough woman is because she's bitchy and emasculating.
Yes.
The terminus of her character arc is always falling in love with a man. That's really what she needed, to be complete and not be this mean woman. So if I was in a woman's studies course, I would write a paper on this.
Oh, good. I was reading about Ninochka after we watched it, and they were talking about how part of the joy of watching Ninochka at that time was that Greta Garbo was basically playing a Greta Garbo character. Except it's not melodrama, it's comedy. That made me realize that Greta Garbo is the female Adam Sandler. Because if you look at Punch Drunk Love, it's the same thing, where it has all the same plot points of early Adam Sandler movies, except it's not done as a comedy, it's just done as like a dramatic comedy.
A quirky comedy.
Yeah. Garbo, Adam Sandler, same person.
Yeah.
There's no way you can refute that.
I have no intention of refuting it.
Good.
It sounds good on paper, but I think that...
No refute. Nope. Rip. Refute.
It's not an episode of Welcome to the Basement if we don't go to the old leather couch and watch something. Douglas Fairbanks, Charlie Chaplin, D.W. Griffith. What do these three people have in common?
They co-founded the United Artists.
And they've all appeared on our show.
Well, yes, obviously.
But there's another founder of United Artists that has not appeared on our show, Mary Pickford. So today we are going to be watching some of the short film work of that actress. Gladys Marie Smith was born in 1892 in Toronto, Canada. She rose to stardom during the silent film era and was the first to be dubbed America's Sweetheart and the Girl with the Curls. She was also a pioneer in the American film industry, co-founding Pickford Fairbanks Studios and United Artists, a studio that was premised on allowing actors to control their own interests rather than being dependent upon commercial studios. Pickford was also one of the 36 founders of the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences. She won the second ever Best Actress Oscar in 1929 for her role in the sound picture Coquette, although at that point her career was in a steep decline. And she also received an honorary Oscar for her various achievements in 1976. The first short film we're going to watch today is a little something called An Arcadian Maid. Released in 1910, AAM stars Mary Pickford. It was directed by basement alum D.W. Griffith.
D-dub.
D-dubs. Arcadian is commonly known in the American South and in the rest of America as Cajun. So I wonder how spicy this one's going to get.
It's 111 years old. This came out the same year as my house.
Let's go take a look. Well, folks, here we are at the couch. I just put in the DVD, and the box says that An Arcadian Maid is on this DVD, but it's not.
Yep.
So we have to switch gears here. We're going to instead watch a little something called Getting Even from some year, directed by someone. Ready?
Yes.
All right, time for fun. The Biograph Company, I like them because they're a very talented group of fellas. Hey, Getting Even begins with a pretty young lady promenading down the street, and she runs into a gang of roughnecks. Hey there, boys, I'm here to get even.
One of them, she seems to be in a relationship with.
Well, the other guys don't like that very much, and they decide to humiliate him right there on the street with a spanking. Whoa, all right. That's what I like to see. I like to see a little bit of rough trade in the Old West. You shouldn't do that to the coward Robert Ford. It can have disastrous consequences.
President Roosevelt, what is this missive you brought me?
This letter says something!
They go back to the bunkhouse.
I think this was directed by a rickety tripod. And it's time to put on a show, I guess, or they're having a costume party?
Yeah! Alright, so we're doing what? YMCA in the Navy? The guy who was humiliated. I'm not going, I'm just gonna sit here in my bunk.
But then he gets an idea. I can get even with those guys for smacking me on my ass out there. I'm going to dress up like my girlfriend and fool them into thinking that they're sexually aroused by me.
Mm-hmm. And that I'm not interested in me, I'm interested in them. And by I mean her.
I'm guessing that the clown is going to get murdered, and then they'll all have to solve the mystery. He goes out there, struts his stuff.
Oh, he's getting even now. I the plot!
And the guys go gaga for the man-woman. I know what he's going to do. He's going to make those men fall in love. And then one of them, he will just run off with and start a life together.
Yeah. And then in like 30 years, he'll be like, check it out. I'm a man. Now you know what it's like to be with the crying game. And World War II's happening. Seems like it's all right to be gay these days, so let's shake hands on it. There's particularly one, probably the spanker, I don't remember that far back. You're the one for me. That's great, I'm going to step outside for a breather.
There, evenness gotten.
And she takes a breather in a most masculine way.
She's out there smoking, she's out there drinking. Those guys can't believe that. Ladies don't do that. They don't smoke and they don't drink.
Mary Pickford. That's the woman we're talking about. She shows up. What? There's two? One's 4 inches taller and doesn't look anything like the other?
Getting Even, filmed in epilepsy vision. And now the joke's on them, because the man got even.
Yes.
Ab indeed. Well, this isn't going very well so far, is it?
I think we just watched something, and we have an idea of what movies were like 110 years ago.
Okay, so Getting Even came out in 1909. It stars Mary Pickford and Billy Quirk, who I think was a big star of this era. It was directed by D.W. Griffith.
Oh, hey! Well, you've done better.
I didn't know that there would be no lines of dialogue at all.
If we look at later silent film directors, they thought the fewer title cards you have, the better storytelling. Because if you don't need dialogue or anything, then you have succeeded.
But this film was largely people talking to each other.
True.
Talking and talking and talking.
Yes.
If it's just going to be, why don't they just do big pantomime? Mm-hmm. Some sort of dumb show to communicate the story to us. It seems like there was no direction. You stand here, you stand there. It was just like, we're rolling, get out there and do the story.
Which, of course, is what happens in things where they improvise a scene, like Judd Apatow movies or Curb Your Enthusiasm. But those seem to be much more trained actors. Who was a trained film actor at the time? Nobody.
But if you look at something like The Great Train Robbery, which came out 6 or 7 years before this, it is miles better. It tells a crystal clear story. It's enjoyable to watch.
The need for revenge isn't as instilled because they don't let things unfold.
You have to take this for what it is. The language of film has not been invented yet. There aren't close-ups, there aren't reversals, there aren't intimate shots. It's all just proscenium. And the transfer of this is so horrendous. I think this was digitized with a Viewmaster.
As time has gone on, there are certain things that don't play as well. A woman smoking and drinking is something that we've all seen. In 1909, women did not smoke in public. It was actually this huge news event that basically shook up America because there was an event at the White House. William Howard Taft was president. There was a Russian diplomat's wife who asked if she could light a cigarette. And they're like, sure. Women can smoke in public now. So it was just crack the world open.
Well, I've got another little Mary Pickford gem for us to watch, and it is something called Artful Kate. Released in 1911, Artful Kate stars Mary Pickford and her then-husband Owen Moore. It was directed by Thomas H. Ince and produced by Carl Laemmle. To the couch! Owen Moore, that was what Mary Pickford was when the stock market crashed. Goodbye, Herr Hitler.
This is Kate.
She's not artful yet.
Nope.
But just you wait. This guy is going to Cuba.
I am going to Cuba. So I'm going to put down a note, goes Cuba.
Kate is real sad because she's going to miss her boyfriend. She gives him a special gift.
A locket with her in it.
That's where my soul went.
You hold on to that. It's very precious. And I want to see it when you get back.
Bye.
1 week later. Did you hear? Cuba's gone. Cuba just disappeared. She gets an invitation from her uncle in Cuba. Hey, I'm having a house party. Come on down. We'll raise the roof.
Cuba's a short jaunt from Florida, don't you know? So she can go to that party, but then she gets an idea. She's got her friend who's a native Cuban. I have a way to express my artfulness and to check in on my boyfriend and see that he's being true to me.
Give me your clothes, and I'm going to find my boyfriend, because Havana's not that big of a town.
Hi, I'm someone else.
Soy Cuba. Soy Cuba.
She sees the man, and she pretends to be a Cuban woman. She flirts with him. He flirts right back, and he gives her that locket, the special locket that Kate gave him.
Mary, you're out of the shot. You're just not in the scene anymore.
Mary had to leave because it was time for her designated union cocaine break. You got to have one of those, every 2 hours.
So back at home. Hey, Kate, I'm back. Oh, great, you're back.
Hey, let me see that locket I gave you because I want to look at it.
Oh, the locket. Well, I was beset. And there was an army, and
I had to take out my sword, and I had to beat him off with my sword.
I had to ride up San Juan Hill.
And they took the locket, honey. I'm so sorry.
Yes. We control Cuba now instead of Spain, so that's the important thing.
Kate goes into the next room. She changes clothes.
And she does the hoochie coochie dressed up in her Cuban frock. Here's the locket. Oh, how dare you? And he leaves.
Smell you later.
Then he comes back, and it's resolved.
And that is the story of Artful Kate.
I can't believe we spent 3 pennies on this.
Still not a lot of information coming across here.
Both the movies we're watching here have classic Shakespearean-style plots of deception,
role,
reversal. It's just a matter of execution.
This movie did have a cutaway close-up. That's kind of surprising. Watching these movies, one almost wonders, were they introduced by an MC who kind of told you what the story was before you started watching?
Or did it come with a playbill and with a little synopsis like when you go to the opera?
Yeah, right. Was there a talk back afterwards?
But at least with this one we do get Mary Pickford front to back.
Well, these movies weren't much to look at, but we hope you enjoyed our clowning around.
And still, better than Hackers.
Come on. Well, one thing you can for sure say about Getting Even and Artful Kate is that they are old movies.
Yes.
And so, your gift.
Well, look at this. It's old Alfred Newman. A mad look at old movies. Just like we had a mad look at old movies today. Well, that's funny.
Well, now is an exciting time in the show. I look forward to this every year. It's time to induct new members into our Welcome to the Basement Hall of Fame. These are people who have appeared on our show multiple times and have appeared on our show this year. And people who have made an impact on us.
Yes.
An impression.
We start with a director. In our first season, she gave us The Decline of Western Civilization Part 2, and then she gave us The Decline of Suburban Civilization in Suburbia. It's Penelope Spheris.
Spheris, 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 Spheris. Next up, we have Delroy Lindo. He may have been snubbed by the Academy for his performance in Da 5 Bloods, but he's not being snubbed by us.
No.
He's going into our Hall of Fame for his performances in the David Mamet film Heist and in Crooklyn. I wish I had a horn to blow.
She's universally loved. She's been nominated for 3 Best Supporting Actress Oscars. She has been around since basically the invention of theater.
She wrote Murder.
She's Angela Lansbury.
He's been on our show 3 times now. He has asked the age-old question, how did it get burned? It is superstar Nicolas Cage, appearing twice just this year in Rumblefish and Season of the Witch. He's appeared previously on Left Behind, where he's looking for some strange on the plane. And now he is hopefully looking to be in our Hall of Fame, because that's where he is.
Another director. He gave us colorful sets and crazy stories. All the way from Italy, it's Mario Bava. Hey, buona fortuna, signor Bava.
And there was an 11th hour inductee. She was just in our last movie, and we didn't even know that she was a Basement alum until halfway through the episode. And her name is Bibi Andersson. She is a Swedish actress, a favorite of Ingmar Bergman, who cast her in his film The Magician. And she was in Robert Altman's Quintet. And now she's in the Hall of Fame. And now it's time to induct our non-human member to the Hall of Fame. It's been a lot of years since we inducted Danson, and now it's time to induct Danson's buddy, Singing.
Singing?
Take it away, montage.
Isn't it rich? Sondheim is dead. Here I am left with this old-fashioned song in my head.
I could sing like that if I wanted to, but I'm too busy being funny.
I'm an telephone a long way south, and you wouldn't be.
Ma perché per ogni sera
Moment, lieben, glauben, globen.
Oh man! I was not expecting this.
Goodbye, little yellow bird.
Sybil Vane probably thinks the Yellow Bird song is about her. Sybil Vane. Stomp, 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 stomp.
I got turkey, you got straw. Let's rub my turkey on your straw.
Oh, it's a dirty song.
Friends come in all sizes, that's a fact, it's true.
My friends, my real friends are all Barbie-sized.
Oh.
My true friends.
Yes.
Night of the Leapers.
Gonna give you the creepers.
Get down. Jungle boogie, bat-a-da, jungle boogie, a boogie boogie.
Chuckle.
Chuckalook, 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 chuckalook.
I could have been alone. What do y'all want me? I'm only skin and bones.
You just made bail.
I have another couple verses.
If I ever find that you changed at any time, push your little face and always come up.
Is that a Ween song?
Yeah.
Good luck. I'll do my best.
But I guess my best won't be good enough. The asteroid will crash into the Earth.
Hackers of the world unite.
Unite and take over.
Wes, wait a minute.
Fill my cup, put some liquor in it. Looking for somebody else, but there is only loneliness to find.
How could she leave her?
Singing.
For our final time this year, it is time for Seen It.
Seen It.
Sean Henry, tonight on Pandemic Playhouse, The Dig. Seen It.
Not seen it.
The Dig is about a rich woman who hires a bicycle man to dig in her backyard because she thinks there's something there. There is. It's an old boat buried in the ground. Hey, Craig, you know what I like? Old stuff buried in the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Pyramids and tombs. And also the mysteries of the ocean, which is a different thing altogether. But digs, you can say that I dig them. There's a problem, though. Halfway through the movie, the British Museum steps in and they take over the dig. And suddenly all of these new characters show up right in the middle of the movie. And the movie kind of becomes about their stories, which I really don't care about. Just focus on the dig. The movie's called The Dig.
Mm-hmm.
The movie's not called The Diggers.
No. It's supposed to be Ray Fiennes, Carey Mulligan, and a shovel.
So I don't care about the little boy and why he likes to look at stars. I don't care about the pretty young archaeologist and her closeted husband. The movie starts to devote too much time to that and not enough time to, we have to finish this dig before World War II starts, because then we'll have to stop.
Yeah. Ian Schiffman asks, Rome, Open City? Seen it.
Seen it. Right down here with him.
Yes, not on the show. I don't even know if we were filming the show yet. Rome, Open City is one of those movies that are just always on a list of one of the most important and best movies ever made. And then you see it and you're like, oh yeah. Still shocking moments 70 years after it came out. Still very painful moments.
And it's not a medicine movie. Like, it's a very engaging, interesting movie.
It's a war movie that takes place in Rome while the Romans are waiting for the Allied troops to save them from the Germans. And so there's lots of run-ins with bad Nazis. There's that one Nazi in it who seems like his suit is too big for him. Like the soldier himself is starving. And I don't know if they're like, well, this is the actor we got and this is the outfit we have. But it does really seem as though the Germans themselves are also falling apart.
Well, when you've got these really low-budget, fly-by-the-seat-of-your-pants productions, there's little moments of happenstance and make-do that end up really enhancing the experience rather than detracting from it.
Yes.
Fran Newhouse writes, hey, did you guys watch The Prom? I didn't. I don't have time for that.
I also didn't have time for that. I didn't hear one good thing about that movie, so I didn't go anywhere near it.
I didn't have time for it either, and yet I watched the damn thing. Tona comes to me. She says, all my friends are talking about The Prom. I want to watch The Prom. I know it's going to be dumb. I know we're going to roll our eyes at it and make jokes about it, but we'll have fun. So I said, of course, I'll watch The Prom.
Meryl Streep's in it.
And we watched it, and all of those things came to pass.
Yes.
It was fun, but the movie does suck. Apart from a few scenes with James Corden and Meryl Streep, who actually have a really good chemistry together. The rest of the movie, the thing I objected to the most were the two teenage lesbians who the story is focused on. Supposedly they're in love, but they're so chaste and formal with each other that there's really no indication that there's any passion between them at all. Now, I know that this is not a movie about eroticism. This is not Blue is the Warmest Color.
Yeah, this is a PG version of a relationship.
But still, when you have a lesbian couple and you just scrub any trace of physical attraction or physicality or passion from them, then they just become these comic strip lesbians and you don't care about their story because they're not real. If you're going to give me a message, you can't just tell me a message. You have to have a story that illustrates that message in a way that draws me in. If you don't have that, then I will watch that and say, well, I agree with that message, but you're preaching at me, so screw you, movie. Mm-hmm. They kiss once at the end of the movie. And it's just very like, you know, it's phony.
Is it a musical?
Yes, every song sounds exactly the same.
Yeah?
This is why Hamilton got so popular. It's not because it's the rapping musical or it has black people playing white people. It's because the songs actually sound distinct from each other, and they don't sound like every other Broadway song that comes out in every other Broadway show every year. It's time for another tradition on our year-end megasode, and that is for the final scene to be a beloved movie classic, and we just talk about the negatives of it.
Turd Ferguson writes, Craig, what are some of your all-time favorites? I know Raiders of the Lost Ark is up there. Yes, it is one of my all-time favorites.
I would say that the worst part of this movie is the character of Marion. We might have talked about this on the show before. She's set up as this badass woman, like this really tough woman. And she goes through the whole movie constantly being a damsel in distress. It's expected during that era, 1982, that that's going to happen. But they set her up to be not that. They set her up to be Indy's partner in crime. But she's just the girl who needs to be rescued all the time.
Indy's in distress, too. All he does is run away from the bad guys throughout the entire movie.
He runs toward solving problems.
Yes, and I'm not complaining about that. That's one of the great things about Indiana Jones, is that he's kind of always afraid. The thing that just always gets me, how did Indiana Jones ride outside of a submarine to the island?
If you want to go somewhere that is crystal clear and full of words, you can go to our website, welcometothebasementshow.com. All of our episodes are there, all 236 of them. And there are PayPal donation buttons that you can click on to make a donation, one-time or rolling monthly donation, to help support this show. We are going on hiatus after this, but work continues during the hiatus, so your continued support is appreciated. Here's a note from one of our donors. Hey guys, this is Joe from Syracuse. Been a fan of Blank Society for over 13 years. I was hoping to hear your thoughts on Shawshank, The Redemption. It's my all-time favorite. I want to know what you guys think. It deserves all the hype it gets. Well, thanks for your donation, Joe, and you can check out episode 59 of this show, Eyes Without a Face, to find out our thoughts on the Shawshank Redemption.
The want to know.
If you want to see more Craig and Matt chat and also watch us open up surprises and read postcards and messages, you can watch Unboxing, which comes out 1 week from now. It will be the final unboxing of the year until February.
And what should they do before February?
You can like us on Facebook and keep an eye on our Facebook page, because we'll be posting posts and polls and things like that throughout January. And if you want to see Megasodes of the past, you can check out our Megasode playlist, which comes at the end of this video. It's the end of another season, Craig. A decade of Welcome to the Basement. It's been a good time, and I hope it keeps on going.
Yes, me too.
And now, watch this. Okay, cut. Back to the standard shot.
I am going to Cuba.